It's breaking news because Techstar said so. Guys, I'm so tired of these Dragon Ball videos where these guys say it's breaking anime news and then they basically talk about nothing. There is no anime news because nothing has happened. There's been no anything. But before we get into the dumb video that he made, y'all know where the buttons are. Slap the like, sub if you want to. Make sure y'all leave some comments. Tell me what y'all think about these fake breaking news, fake Dragon Ball news videos. And let's get into it.
You could not.
Well, he made a video and he put breaking news and he put it in like a lot of capital letters. So let's see if this is actually breaking news or just more hype to keep you guys going until the end of the year.
All right, you guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super video. And yes, I did say Dragon Ball Super. I know I'm a little bit surprised myself that we're able to come back so frequently with so many Dragon Ball Super updates. The only thing we need now is that big announcement for the manga coming back. But
there's been no anime announcements whatsoever. It's been fake leaks and fake rumors, but there have been no leaks from any official source, and there definitely has been no official anything on the manga. These guys can't be happy that the trash anime is returning. They got to keep whining about the manga too. It's ridiculous.
in today's video, ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful Friday morning, we actually had a little bit of breaking.
Hey guys, I love you guys. We're all friends and stuff. These dudes make me want to puke with this fake, what do we call this toxic positivity that they do, where they all pretend to be nice guys and all love and care about their community. It's so horribly disgusting, man.
News when it comes to Dragon Ball Super Beerus' anime remake and the continuation of the Dragon Ball Super anime remake in itself. So as always, if you guys have been enjoying all of the Dragon Ball content here recently, consider leaving a like on this video to help us out in the algorithm. It is the easiest and most free way to support the channel. Subscribe for more, and without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't going to be a long one, just a really quick update, so let's hop right in. Alright, you guys, so we are back kind of in our natural habitat for these videos, right? We are over on DBS Hype's X account, and one of his
Dragon Ball Super Beerus anime is expected to premiere in October. Duh. I said that I don't know how many months ago.
Latest tweets right here, and this is gonna read: Dragon Ball Super Beerus anime is expected to premiere in October 2026 based on the release of the Solid Edge Works Beerus and Whis figurines, and this is via Baggy Saiyan and Benix over on X. So
now keep in mind, these people hardly ever get anything right. I mean, especially Mr. Hype there, they hardly ever get anything right. They're saying October, but no one actually knows that. I even said October, but I was just throwing out a month in the fall, because when they say fall, it could be any month of the fall. But here's the thing. You guys are getting hype over an anime you've already seen, and all they did was add a new coat of paint and take away episodes. That's it. That's all they did. And then they're going to skip over two of the biggest arcs in the whole thing. They're going to just not even redo them. So they basically playing y'all with Dragon Ball Super all over again. And y'all are trying to hype it up like it's brand new, like y'all getting something special. This is not new or special.
a couple of things about this. So this doesn't really surprise me too much, because they usually try to line up these releases with something else. It doesn't always have to be like an SEW figurine or things like that. We saw this back in 2024 with the release of Dragon Ball Daima and the release of Sparking Zero kind of being lined up. Now, I'm not also gonna say that they always do this, because I can't remember exactly if they released Dragon Ball Super and the Blu-ray really close together 11 years ago. Actually, I think that Dragon Ball Super, the anime, premiered in Japan in July of 2015, and I think the Blu-ray came out in December. So that's not really lined up exactly, but you guys get what I mean, right? Basically what I'm trying to say is that it's not too abnormal to see them try to line up another product drop or even more content reveals with a Dragon Ball Super anime release, right?
How is this breaking news? How is this worth having all capital letters in your title? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is honestly just regular old everyday run-of-the-mill news. But because Dragon Ball channels have to go out of their way to clickbait, they all do the capital letters. They all love the word breaking or breaking news. They love having that crap in their titles. It's not breaking news. It's just not. See, that's where the lying takes place. That's why I always say these people be lying. I'm not saying he's lying about the information. He's lying about it being important. He's lying about it being breaking news in order to hype. Because the Dragon Ball community is the only community that lives 100% off of hype. They honestly have nothing else. So it's just pure hype all the time. It's like their number one thing that they live off of.
Like I said, we've seen this a couple of times before. I'm not gonna say that they always try to do this one-to-one, but I mean, even with the movies, which is where I feel like it's been more.
Now, I was gonna do this in a live stream, but I gotta work later and I got a lot of other stuff to do, so I didn't have time to do a really long stream. That's really the reason why I decided to just knock it out in video form.
More noticeable, but odds are, if this kind of, you know, follows the pattern of things we've seen in the past, odds are that there's a good chance that this could happen. And I'm also say this as well, and keep in mind, I'm not trying to like suck myself off or anything like that. I'm sure plenty of other people thought the exact same thing as me. When it was revealed that Dragon Ball Super Beerus would premiere in 2026, the first thing that I thought of, and I said this in multiple videos as well, odds are, if it really is scheduled for this year, it'll probably be in October. I mean, the last couple of times that Dragon Ball has had these big releases, especially the last 2 times, obviously, that quarter four appearance for Dragon Ball content, it's worked out really well for them. So, and that kind of lines up with, I mean, the rest of the time we have left, right? Like, we're literally halfway through 2026 right now. Later on in the year, that quarter 4 area, that really is the only thing that makes sense right now. We've only gotten 2 trailers so far. We've gotten really only that sneak.
Like I said, I'm done trying to change people's minds when it pertains to Dragon Ball. It's trash. It was trash the first time around. It's trash again. How many times are you going to get Beerus? How many times are you going to get Beerus before you realize that they don't have any ideas? You're going to keep getting Beerus. You're going to keep getting Frieza. It's really like everything they're about to show you, you can just watch it right now. I get it. Y'all want to see it with a new coat of paint on it, but that's all they're adding to it. They're adding a new coat of paint. They're not doing anything else to it. They're just making it look prettier. That's all. And honestly, that's not worth a re-release. That's why I call it a replay, because that's really what it is. They're just replaying it.
Peak of the next arc with Frieza appearing at the end of the trailer from Battle Hour. So odds are, I mean, October 2026, I've been saying this from day one, that does sound pretty accurate to what we've been saying for the past.
Oh great, Frieza again, yay.
Couple of months. So now let's go ahead and pull up the 2 culprits ourselves, right? Like, we've been talking about them the whole video. Now let's see exactly what they posted. So we have Phoenix right here quote tweeting baggy_ saying, just making it easy for me. I really appreciate that. So Phoenix is gonna say Dragon Ball Super Beerus release date, first official Dragon Ball.
More capital letter hype as usual.
Super Beerus figures of Beerus and Whis coming.
And I've noticed that every time we get these so-called leaks and rumors on X, it's always some dude nobody ever heard of. It's always some random Dragon Ball account.
In October. This basically confirms at 99% that the series will drop in October.
So because they're putting out some toys in October, you think that means they're automatically dropping the series in October? That logic makes no sense.
This is Vanix's tweet, and let's go ahead and click on Baggy Saiyans tweet right here with the actual figures for us to see. So since Solid Edgework,
they reselling some toys too. Look, I gotta give these people credit. I gotta give them credit. They have managed to trick these dudes into being hype about something they've already seen, and now they've managed to trick them into being hype about some toys that most of them have already bought. I can't even be mad at these companies, man.
Beerus and Whis are releasing in October. I guess that's unofficial confirmation that DBS Beerus will air then. And here we have the new figures in question. Now keep in mind, these are officially for Dragon Ball Super Beerus's anime remake, as you guys can see the little logo.
Anime replay. It's not a remake, it's a replay. They literally just took a few scenes and fixed them, and then they removed a bunch of episodes. That's it.
Go right here. So these are all.
Look, I've made the point that a lot of y'all are going to be disappointed. A lot of y'all that are going to watch this, you're only going to watch it because you're just trying to get through it to get tomorrow, which is what you really want to see. But nobody wants to watch something they've already seen all over again. But that's what y'all gonna have to do in order to get to what you really want to see.
New figures for the new anime, and here goes Whis right here. Obviously they don't look too different, but with this having a release date.
This is the quality of Dragon Ball content that you guys get because there's no actual news. Every single one of these channels go on X and hunt for stories to talk about on X. None of them have the ability to make content without doing this. All these channels are literally the same. Just a different name, different intro, sometimes different thumbnails, and a different voice. But all these channels are just biologically the same. And there's no news. It's all garbage. It's all trash. But they just keep this stuff going, man. I've never seen an anime live so long off of hype. Just off of pure hype and no substance.
In October, that would kind of make sense for it to align. I don't see this coming out before the anime drops, so I would assume that this has to be dropping alongside the anime or maybe a little bit after. That would make the most sense to me for something like this, at least. Maybe that's not the way that they do these figurines.
He has absolutely no knowledge whatsoever of what he's talking about. All he can do is speculate, and I have no problem with speculation. My problem with these Dragon Ball channels is they like to insert knowledge where they have none, and that's also what I call lying. When you state something that you can't prove, that's lying to me.
I have no clue, but with an anime drop this big, that would make the most sense to me. And again, I think it's just really important to keep in mind.
I don't think this anime drop is going to be that big. I really don't. I think like the first episode, it might garner a lot of attention because Dragon Ball's been gone for so long. But I think once people actually watch and they see that it's just a rehash of something they've already seen, I think the viewership's going to trail off pretty quickly. You're going to have the same lazy channels doing the same lazy reviews. It's going to be garbage. I'm going to review it because I like making fun of it. But it's just going to be the same old stuff, man.
When it comes to Dragon Ball, anime, hell, fiction, period, this definitely isn't something new that we've seen before. If we go back in time to, again, when Dragon Ball Diamond released, that dropping alongside Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, I know that whole wave, that whole time in our lives is kind of come and gone, but I can't remember another time in my life where a franchise as big as Dragon Ball, obviously you could say Pokemon and stuff like that, even though I don't.
One Piece is bigger than Dragon Ball. Matter of fact, One Piece is outselling Dragon Ball. It's more popular than Dragon Ball. It's more current than Dragon Ball. A lot of stuff is. Dragon Ball simply is not what it used to be.
I don't know exactly when Pokemon was dropping their games in relativity to their anime or their movies or anything like that. I can't remember the last time a franchise as big as Dragon Ball dropped an animated project and a game as big as Sparking Zero at the same.
Sparking Zero is trash. And no matter how many DLCs they add to it, it's still a bad game. And a lot of people traded it in or regretted their purchase a couple of weeks after buying it. And coming in and improving a game after everybody done stopped playing it does nothing. We all saw the evidence. We saw how many people literally left the game and went back to Xenoverse. That's another lie that these guys like to tell. They like to invent this world where Sparking Zero was a good game. It simply wasn't, and it still isn't.
Same time that people have been anticipating for over a decade. Like, that time was so big in my life. Maybe for some of the younger people,
that time was so big in your life. Dragon Ball, really, dude?
Wasn't that crazy, but it,
hey guys,
to me, that was an insane time for Dragon Ball and for anime period, right? But the last thing that I want to bring up and talk to you guys about before we get out of here for the day is a little bit of hope, right? So
little bit of hope. Yeah, I think we call that cope on the internet.
I've been seeing, especially recently, over under some of these bigger accounts on Twitter and hell, even YouTube and stuff like that, a lot of mixed reactions and negativity when it comes to the new Dragon Ball Super anime.
Here we go. They love talking about negativity because they're all about positivity in the Dragon Ball community. This is the same community that doxes and harasses people on a daily, but they're all about positivity.
Especially ever since we got that recent update from Anime AJ that they'll probably stop or at least take a pause right before the Goku Black arc, and then all hands are going to be on deck for Moro. And I'm seeing a lot of mixed reactions to that news in particular, especially since not the popular opinion, because I could never say that. I think it's just a vocal minority. There is a vocal minority of Dragon Ball fans that think this whole remake idea is such a waste of time.
It's not a vocal minority. It's a large percentage of the community. But you see, they have to always downplay it. They have to always make it seem like, oh, it's just a few people. No, it's a lot of people saying it. Read the comments. It's a lot of people that are saying that this remake is a waste of time. They could have just jumped straight to what they should be doing. A lot of people are saying it. It's not just a vocal minority. These guys love to lie, man. This is why I dislike their community. They're all professional liars.
And just, just why is it even happening? But it also feels like it's those same fans that are saying, well, if you're gonna do the remake, why aren't you doing the whole thing at once? Like, why is it not leading up into Moro and things like that? Guys, I 100% agree that it kind of doesn't make the most sense for them to do half of the remake, move on to the new content, and then come back and finish the remake, and then go on to the content that came after the stuff that they just pivoted. Like, I get it. It doesn't really make the most sense. They're kind of like taking almost like a Star Wars approach or something to this. But I also want to remind you guys that when the Dragon Ball Super anime had its first run through, we had 3 years of content with that, okay? And while there were, I can't remember how many breaks or anything there were, and we also had the Dragon Ball Super manga alongside that, even if they're cutting out, like, let's say 25 to 40% of the content from the old anime, I think at least with the content that we already have from the God of Destruction Beerus saga up until the Tournament of Power, even if they do slice off a lot of the fat from that portion of Dragon Ball Super, I do think that we could get probably 1.5 to 2 years of Dragon Ball Super anime remake out of everything that they're doing right now.
See, he's thinking of this in terms of a content creator. He's thinking about how many videos he can make off of it. He's not thinking about the fact that nobody wants to sit through some trash they've already watched. This is all through the eyes and the mind of a content creator. He's thinking, I can get a year's worth of content out of this remake. That's what he's thinking. He ain't thinking about whether it's going to be good quality, whether it's just going to be the same trash. He ain't thinking about none of that. I got a feeling they're gonna like add a coat of paint to certain episodes, and other episodes they're not gonna touch them. It's gonna be the same trash.
That is not to include Dragon Ball Super: The Galactic Patrol. That is not to include the Granola Saga or anything like that.
They haven't even announced Granola. Y'all don't even know if y'all getting that.
I feel like those in themselves could take a couple of months depending on how they do the anime this time, especially the Moro arc. The Granola Saga could definitely turn out to be super long depending on how they do it. I felt like there was like 4 parts to that arc, kind of like the Moro arc as well, but the pacing of the Moro arc and just like the stakes of that arc were so much higher. It was so much more intense than the Granola Saga. So I hope that they really do it justice, which I know that they are. That's why they're taking all hands on deck from the remake.
Said, I hope they do it justice, and I know that they are. Well, they haven't done any justice to anything lately. Diamond was garbage. The original run of Super was garbage. The last time they did something good was Broly. That's it. That's the last time they did something good.
And they're putting them on to Dragon Ball Super: The Galactic Patrol. But that is the only thing that I wanted to leave you guys with. I know that there's a little bit of frustration with not being able to see a remade Goku Black arc and seeing him be remade into this, you know, ultra sinister, just straight pure evil being, like how they're kind of portraying Beerus now, like he's super serious now. He's a lot more scary. I know a lot of us were hoping for that for
Beerus is the same as usual. I don't care how they try to make him scarier or more intimidating. We know how it ends. The reason we know how it ends, because there wouldn't be a Frieza saga coming right after that if it ended any other way than the way we know it's going to end. There would be no future arcs if Beerus ended in a terrible way. So why are we all acting like it's going to be something different than what we've already seen?
Goku Black, but we're just going to have...
And look, I already know the fanboys. Just let us have what we like. Why are you trying to take away something that we care about? I'm not trying to take away anything. I'm just simply criticizing the fact that y'all are acting like this is brand new when it's not. That's it. That's all I'm doing.
To wait a little bit longer. And trust me when I say this, when we finally see Dragon Ball Super: The Galactic Patrol on our monitors and our TVs for the first time, whatever wait, whatever sacrifice we had to make to get to that point, it's gonna be worth it, I promise. But
you don't know that, first of all, and second of all, no, it won't be worth it, because most of the fan base will probably drop off while they're waiting, because they don't want to have to sit through all those arcs that they've already seen.
I think that is gonna do it for this one, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm glad, because this video is trash. Part of the reason that I don't like Starr is because he's one of these black dudes who tries to play himself off as a white dude. He even tries to talk like he's white. He does that to ingratiate himself with the community. There's a reason that even though he has 800,000 subs, he only gets, 15, 20,000 views a video. Because no matter how much you kiss up to the Dragon Ball community, you still a black dude, and they know you black. And the moment they found out you were black, that's when they stopped supporting your channel. So all those subs you piled up don't mean anything. It's a waste of time. Because every time a black dude builds up a big channel and they find out you black, your support drops off. Don't believe me? Go ask Quaman. Now, some of them still pretend to love him, but they don't care about him. Once they found out he was black, they start unsubbing from his channel. And that's the same thing that happened to Starr. People literally just start tuning out when they discovered he was a black dude. Should have kept his face hidden. The minute he turned on the camera, he ruined his channel. Anyways, I'm done. Y'all know where the buttons are. Leave some comments. Tell me what you think. I'm sure the Dragon losers are going to come forward. I don't know. Wait a minute. They usually don't defend Starr. They only defend people like Nobody 101. So, yeah, he might not get the same level of defense. And we all know why. The Dragon Ball community is more racist than the Nazi community. So, anyways, I'm done. Catch up with y'all later.